Hey everyone, Electron John here, and today I want to give a very simple explanation of a new tool, a new feature in a tool from PowerProbe. The PowerProbe 3 has been around for many years. Everybody has, seen it, used it, loved it, owned it. They added a new feature to it. It's called Power Flow. So let's talk a little bit about Power Flow. So real quick, the PowerProbe 3 with Power Flow, you can see one of the big differences about the tool itself is it's added some extra buttons here, the two buttons on the side. And to explain exactly what that is and why it's so important, I mean, there's some other new features in it as well. You now have the ability to lock the power on, so you don't have to sit there and hold the power button. They've added resistance testing to it. But let's talk about the real strengths of a PowerProbe. A PowerProbe for years has a digital voltmeter in it, or digital multimeter, we should say, voltmeter. Depending on the version of the PowerProbe you actually purchase, it adds more multimeter features. This one now has the ability to measure DC volts. It also has the ability to measure resistance up to 25,000 ohms of resistance, which for automotive applications serves us pretty well. And then it also has min-max capabilities as well. So, but the real star of the show here is PowerProbe has always been able to give power or ground. It's connected directly to the battery. So a lot of the voltage readings that you'll read is comparing right off the most positive and most negative section of the battery, which has always been a strength. And it acts as a jumper wire, because if you're trying to test a circuit and the circuit doesn't have power, and let's say a light bulb's not lighting up, you could give it power and see if the light bulb lights up. And if it does, the component's good. So, but let's talk about the Power Flow. Power Flow all has to do with voltage drop testing. And voltage drop testing has been a thorn in everybody's side for many, many years. And the reason why it's such a problem is I'm going to show you that I basically have a 12 volt power supply hooked up over here. And I'm just going to go ahead and take the 12 volt power supply. I'm going to put a resistor in with this. And if I take my tool here, and it's a 300 ohm resistor. If I just touch the side of it here, I've got the speaker turned off on my PowerProbe so that it's not making noise while we're trying to do this. But if I just touch the side of this resistor, you can see that I have 12 volts present. Now, that's telling me I got good battery voltage getting up to this particular load in this circuit. And if I touch the other side of the resistor, so I'm touching the opposite side of the resistor. So it is going through the resistor of 300 ohms, and I still have the 12 volts. Now, if I hit the button on the side that says for power flow on the positive side of the circuit here, I have the ability to apply a load to the circuit. And it's kind of hard with the screen and the lighting to get an accurate, real clear shot of the 12 volts here. But once I hit that button, we actually put a load on the circuit, and we see with the voltage drop present, it drops all the way down to less than a volt, 0.9 volts we saw. So again, here's something that, if you didn't know about all PowerProbes, you also have two little lights up in the top corners. So this light over here is for the ground side testing. As long as you got a path to ground, and as long as there's 30 ohms of resistance or less on this particular tool, it's going to shine green. If I'm on the power side of the circuit, as long as I got 12 volts there and it doesn't drop, a whole lot of voltage, it shows up that that's a good power supply, so 12 volts. But when we actually load the circuit down, it dropped. So we don't actually have the 12 volts being applied here. So if I'm going to hit the power button again, you see that we drop down to 1 volt. So what does that mean for us when we're doing our diagnostic testing? Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wire in just a regular light bulb. This is an LED light bulb. It's nothing that's going to draw a whole lot of amperage or anything. But I'm going to wire this in on the other side of the circuit here. And I'm going to explain this again and show you what that looks like in a real world application. So I've got the light bulb hooked up here. I'm going to take and get a ground wire hooked up to the other side of the light bulb. And the light bulb is actually being lit. So you could kind of try to get it in the shot of the camera. I'm trying to do this in a very small office here. So the light bulb is lit up. Now, if I were to go ahead and give this full 12 volts, you'll see that light bulb is very dim compared to if it had the full 12 volt availability there. So I'm going to go ahead and just move the light bulb out of the screenshot here, get the resistor back in view here, and I've got the light bulb lit up here. I'm going to again do the actual power flow and try to let the camera zoom in on the actual numbers here. So with an extra load in the circuit here, so now I've got the load of the 300 ohm resistor plus whatever this LED light bulb is supplying as a load as well, which is going to be very small since it's an LED light bulb. You see that right now I don't have the little red light lit up on the top of the screen there because I don't have 12 volts. I've dropped more than a half a volt there. So that would be my first indication that I might have an issue with this power feed side, but the light bulb is still lit up. However, once I go ahead and I hit the power flow button with the extra light bulb in series here with this, we see that we have the huge voltage drop. So I don't really have 12 volts or even 10 volts, as this resistor here is saying on the other side of the resistor. To actually power up that light bulb, you know, I have 10 volts getting to the light bulb, but there's in essence 1 volt availability here. So this is where the voltage drop testing has always been a big concern. Now the benefit of being able to test it with power flow, so to diagnose this in real world, I would start at the light bulb, probably a connector or something, see what the voltage is. It's going to be extremely low, and then I would just keep going back along the circuit, and if I got on one side of the resistor with the power flow and hit the button, it drops to about a volt. Once I go on the other side of the resistor, I see, hey, I've got my 12 volts. Even when I hit the power flow button, as long as it doesn't drop more than half a volt, we're good. So I know that my problem is going to be in this general area right over here. So at that point, you know, I would just inspect the harness. Maybe there's a connector there. Maybe it's got green corrosion. Maybe it's a burn connector, whatever the case happens to be. But this is basically telling you a quick, easy way to go ahead and load down a relatively low voltage circuit, low amperage circuit, and help you be able to diagnose, you know, if it's got, you know, sufficient voltage or sufficient ground. Because again, if I was just using the numbers here, this resistor is obviously the problem. The red light comes on, tells me I got 12 volts on this side of the resistor. Even on the other side of the resistor, it still said I had 12 volts because I'm not loading the circuit down yet. Once I load the circuit down, that's when the problems show up. So this is a huge time saver, and we can diagnose vehicles. You might have maybe had problems in the past, or maybe you went ahead and you had a specific component. Let's say you had a blower motor on a vehicle and the blower motor wasn't working. So a lot of times maybe you took a test light, a power probe, voltmeter, whatever type of tool you're using, and you went ahead and you checked to see if there was power and ground getting to the motor. And you saw that there was power, there was a ground, a path to ground. So a lot of times you might make the mistake and say, hey, let me go ahead and just order up a blower motor, put the thing in. You put it in, it still doesn't work. So at that point, then you say, you know, oh, I got to start all over again. And maybe you find that it just can't carry the load. So 12 volts was getting to it, but it couldn't carry the load because maybe there is a burn connector or high resistance. So the power flow feature that's built into this new Power Probe tool is a pretty cool feature. Can you load down circuits other ways? Absolutely. You know, I'm not here to tell you you can't do it. Can you go ahead and use a digital voltometer and maybe a light bulb in series with it to accomplish the same thing? You absolutely can. You know, I'm not trying to tell you you can't do it that way. But the nice thing about the Power Probe is it's got multiple tools all in one. So I don't need to bring anything else. I've got basically a voltmeter, and in this case also an ohm meter in the tool. I got jumper wires into the tool. I can supply power and ground like I always could. I could lock the power on or lock the ground on with this tool. It kind of has a built-in flashlight on the end. If I'm underneath a dash or something, you know, as soon as I got it hooked up, I have lights that I can use to help see here. But it also has the ability to load down the circuit. So I was pretty impressed with this, and I figured I'd make a quick little video because a lot of times people have questions about, well, you know, what is power flow? I tried to make it as simple of an explanation as possible. You may say that you have good voltage applied to the vehicle or to the component or circuit or whatever you're testing, but in all reality, unless you load that circuit down, you don't really know if the voltage is actually good or if the path to ground is actually good. So to test the ground side of the circuit, you do the exact same thing. You just hit the P with the little negative button over here. That supplies the load on the ground side. How much of a load it is kind of depends on if you're working on a 12 volt or a 24 volt system, but it's roughly between a half an amp and an amp depending on the system that you're working on. So if you have any more questions about it, be sure to leave them in the comments below. And well, I'll be using this a couple more times in a couple upcoming videos showing you some of the benefits here. Be happy to answer whatever kind of questions you may have. Thanks for watching.